Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. As with so many things these days at the moment, these are unique circumstances, and I'd much rather be talking to you face to face, but it's not possible, so we have to make the best of the circumstances. The good news, of course, is that we're now gradually back to playing cricket, and so we're making those first positive steps back to normality. The main purpose of this evening is to share with you, however, the board's approach to this season's membership subscriptions. And I have a few slides to share with you this evening to summarize that. But before I cover those options, on behalf of the board and all of the staff at Edgbaston and at the club, I just wanted to say a big thank you. Thank you for your support and your understanding during these difficult times, and also for your patience. Before we could communicate, as we are doing this evening with you, we needed to get a little more clarity on the position of the club, and also what would happen to the balance of this season. It seems a very long time ago now, but when we entered into this crisis and this lockdown, it was over 4 months ago. During that time, we've been meeting almost weekly as a board and working very hard to best protect your club, not only for the balance of this season, but for its long-term future as well. It's been an extremely testing time, I'm sure, for yourselves as well, and also for all of us at the club. But the staff and the players and everyone involved with the club have responded absolutely magnificently to the situation. And before we just cover off the membership position for 2020, I just wanted to share some thoughts and some impressions and some pictures of that contribution that everyone at the club has made to the community around us over the last 4 months. You'll recognise, and many of you will have seen it firsthand, that our car park here on the left-hand side has been transformed over the last few months into a national COVID-19 testing centre. We're enormously proud of that, and I'm sure you are as well, of that contribution straight away to the emergency that the country was in and indeed remains in. In addition to that, you see on the right-hand side there, the exhibition hall became a food storage and distribution hub for charity. And there was over £50,000 worth of food donated over the last few months, and lots of people have been involved, including the players, in helping out there and distributing that food. You see a masked up picture of Oliver Hannon-Dolby there, and also wanted to just give a shout out to Matt Lamb, who also contributed significantly, as well as a lot of other staff, to helping put ourselves once again at the centre of a response to the community that we're based in. That response went further than that. It went into some very personal contributions to lots of people. Lots of people participated in the 2.6 challenge there. The wider staff, yourselves, I'm sure, friends of the club, and indeed some former players. You see on the right-hand side there, our very own Dennis Amis, who contributed some 26 days of housework. We haven't had that audited yet, but I'm sure Dennis was fully supportive to Jill and to stepping in there, making his contribution for a great cause. We've sold T-shirts up on the top right-hand side there. Over 160 of those we've sold to make a further contribution, and both Rachel Wrong and Jim Troughton have done a reprise follow-up of their book for junior bears particularly. And in total, those efforts have raised nearly £10,000 for the Queen Elizabeth Hospital and for NSPCC Childline. You'll also be aware, as members, of the weekly members Zoom calls that we've had. Many contributions from players and personalities past and present. And I think that's gone down extremely well with members who have fed back to us how much they've appreciated that. Lots of votes also for some of our greatest over the course of many years. And I think in total we've had some 17 votes, which so many people have contributed to and participated in to recognise some of the great historic times of this club. And we've had the opportunity also through Live Rewind to do a number of full-scale match replays of some of our finest moments over the last few years. And I hope you've all very much enjoyed that. It's been a big effort on behalf of the staff, but I think it's been very well appreciated. But at times like these, all that just goes to underline and to reinforce really that we are more than a cricket club. We are part of our communities and we play a vital role in providing help, resources and encouragement in coming through difficult periods. And I wanted to pay tribute again to everyone who's been involved in helping out there. That response has been absolutely fantastic, a real credit to everyone involved with the club, and has been very well noticed, not only in our communities, in our cities and in our towns, but also further afield. And I appreciate that on behalf of the club. All of that has brought us to a position where we're now returning to what we do best, be a cricket club. You'll know that we're now in a position where we have completed 2 warm-up matches. Recreational cricket is back playing. And I wanted to, on behalf of the club, also pay tribute to the ECB, our central governing body. I think the work they've done, not only in being able to put on the recently completed test series against West Indies in those bubble environments, but also in getting the game moving, has put the sport in a very good light by comparison with a number of other sports and with government. But once again, I would say on top of that, our own fantastic staff. The fact that we've been able to allow a limited number of people back in over the last few days, and that we're now in a position to allow some more people in for this coming weekend, is a real tribute to not only the operational skill and expertise of our staff, but also their fantastic dedication to this great club. The players have been back, as you know, since the beginning of this month. And they've definitely been chomping at the bit, as have the coaches, and I think have put in some good shifts over the last few days in those warm-up matches, and we're now ready to go. The season, as you know, is starting again this coming Saturday on the 1st of August, and we're delighted that that opening red ball tournament has been named the Bob Willis Trophy, in honour of one of our own and one of the game's greatest. It's a great tribute to the man and to the club as well. As part of those warm-ups over the last day or so, we've had the Minister of Sport and the Shadow Minister of Sport with us. I think we've come through those tests with flying colours by virtue of all the effort that everyone has put in on behalf of the work, on behalf of the club. And as I say, we're now in a position to be able to bring in up to 2,500 people into the Edgbaston venue over this coming weekend. It's all been as a result of that tremendous work. But we do have to recognise that the situation here, the situation in cricket, and the situation in sport, and indeed broader society, is still fragile, and we have to be very careful, very responsible, and very adept at playing this situation out further and trying to build from it, so that we gradually return to some form of normality. And we need your help and support in doing that. It's a difficult position at the moment for all clubs, for all sports, and indeed, as I say, for broader society. And so we need to consider carefully and continue to work very hard as a board to make sure that we protect our future as a club. So I hope you feel very proud of what your club's achieved over the last 4 months in extremely difficult circumstances. But let me move on to the main purpose of this evening's presentation, which is the options that the board have concluded for 2020 with regard to membership. This will all be covered in a letter which will be arriving with you in the next day or so. And so if there's anything from that that needs further explanation, then there'll be the normal contact numbers on there to reach out to us and gain any further explanation or detail that you require. There's two options essentially that we have put forward. The first one is that we would ask you to positively consider donating your 2020 membership subscription to the club in full, to continue to support the club's investment in our teams and indeed the facilities at Edgbaston during this difficult and, as I say, still somewhat fragile time. We recognise that that is and would be a big commitment, and so we would like to recognise that with a number of elements of recognition. We would like to put onto a plaque your name if you have felt able to donate your membership subscription. And once we have collected all those names up, we would position that plaque in recognition of your support and ongoing contribution to the club in a prominent position at the stadium. We'd also like to incorporate your name into a special edition design of the shirt that the players would be wearing for next season's one-day competition. And that would be put in motion, as I say, for next season. If we are able to allow an increasing number of people into fixtures in the balance of this season, then you would have priority and complementary access to those fixtures during 2020, as and if we are allowed to do that. You would also have first priority access to buying major match day tickets for 2021. We've added into that recognition proposal a complimentary season pass for T20 Blast to allow you to bring a guest to all T20 home games next season in 2021, subject to your renewal of membership for 2021 itself, and that would be in addition to the usual guest passes. We appreciate that for some members, the T20 pass might be of less interest than for others. But the club is very interested in bringing more and more people to the ground, more and more people to Edgbaston, to the club, and to introduce them to cricket and introduce them to our club. So we do feel that that's an element, even for those of you who attend fewer T20 matches, that we would ask for your support in using that benefit to full advantage to the club. Paul Farbrace, our sport director, has very kindly agreed to put out a letter of thanks and sprinkle a little bit of more stardust into the recognition and acknowledgement of your support. We would put in place as a club a special members reception for people donating their 2020 membership subscription to the club in the early part of next season. And we would give you full acknowledgement in the 2020 annual report once that is drawn up and publicised. So we recognise that it would be a big commitment, a further commitment from you as individual members, but we would ask you to consider that fully. We understand that, of course, that some people are not able to make that donation or indeed make a full donation. That depends on everybody's individual circumstances, and we fully respect that. So we have put the option forward also for a refund. You can apply for that refund or indeed a partial refund if you are a multi-year member, and we'll make that refund form available at the edgbaston.com website from early tomorrow morning, and you will have through until midnight close on the 28th of August to make any decision with regard to that refund. We would also ask you to consider if you are available to make a donation, in a sense, a partial refund, and to make a voluntary contribution to the club if you feel able and willing to do so. If you do apply for a refund, then the membership will stop with effect from Tuesday, 1st of September. That's the membership, of course, for 2020 season. And that refund will then be processed during the course of September. If there is further clearance to allow more spectators into the ground for additional matches during the balance of this season, then it would mean that 2020 members who have requested a refund would be required to purchase the tickets to attend. So as I say, there are two options. We would ask you to consider positively, if you're able to, a full donation of your 2020 membership subscriptions, or if not, to consider a donation to the club. And we are providing the option then for a full refund if you're not able to do either of those two things. And the details for all of those will be contained in the letter that will be arriving with you shortly. I trust that is clear. The board has given it very full consideration over the last few days as the picture has become a bit clearer. It is not entirely clear. 2021 will, I think, again, be a difficult year. But thanks to our team, we are coming through that. We've stabilized the situation for 2020, and we're now preparing for the balance of this season, which we hope will be a successful one for the club in both shortened competitions that has been agreed with the ECB to be played from now through until early October. And we hope that that situation, notwithstanding it's somewhat fragile, will be able to continue to improve, and that gradually we'll be allowed to bring more spectators into the ground, and indeed be able to be in a position to welcome you back as members to Edgbaston. We're as frustrated as you are that we can't be there more often under the current circumstances, but it feels as though we are at least heading in the right direction. In the meantime, I wish everyone to stay safe over the next few weeks, and we very much hope to be in a position to welcome you back to Edgbaston as soon as possible, and to meet with you again and to share our collective enjoyment of cricket at Edgbaston and successful Warwickshire and Bears cricket at Edgbaston. So in the meantime, stay safe, and thank you very much.